Good morning, y'all. Good to see you. A lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Hurricane Beryl. We're going to talk about the elections in France. We're going to talk about we got a whole ton of stuff. The elections here. We're going to ton of stuff to talk about. So please fill your cups. Let's do this. Good morning, people. I want to start the show, and please bear with me. This won't be long, but I want to start the show by patting myself on the back a little bit. The other day, I call myself out when I get it wrong. I do. I was wrong about the SCOTUS opinion. I didn't think in a million years that the Supreme Court would give Joe Biden the power that they just handed him. I didn't think it would happen because it effectively ends every investigation they've been trying to run into him. But hey, I was wrong, and I called myself out for being wrong. I also like to pat myself on the back when I'm right, when I am right. First of all, y'all may remember a show a while back where we were talking about Timothy Mellon. Well, guess who finally discovered Timothy Mellon after the disclosures, the Federal Election Commission financial disclosures came out. The media has finally discovered that the guy that we were talking about months ago is actually funding the right-wing movement in this frickin' country. He is a jackass. He is everything you would imagine an old, hard right-wing, decrepit old man would be. He's just an awful human being, and he is funding the right to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. Thank you for finally catching up to the rest of our community and what we know. Something else that's happened in the news, and this this shouldn't make me as happy as it does. It really shouldn't. For longtime fans, y'all will know who Allison Steinberg is. I did one piece on her for Midas Touch because I don't like bigots. I don't like people that engage in bigoted behavior. I really don't. This is Allison Steinberg. You won't recognize her. She's a darling on the right. This is a post of hers from Twitter. In support of insurrection and coups and whatnot. This is how it started. And this is how my interaction with Allison Steinberg started. See the story right here? Well, she went on a rant because her beloved Huntington Beach is a little rich enclave in California full of right-wing snots. I mean, so much of the negative nastiness that comes out with the young people on the right comes out of Huntington Beach, California. It really does. It makes me laugh that people say, "Oh, you need to leave Texas and go to California." You people, you nutbag right-wing freaks are in California too. So she just went absolutely insane because Huntington Beach flew a pride flag at the beach and went on a horrific rant. And I called her out on it. Apparently it got under her skin because even though she was called out by the Daily Beast and all kinds of different national, organizations that are out there, she really did not like what I had to say. And she didn't do one, but she did two segments about my criticisms of her and her behavior. So, yeah, that's how it started. This is how it's going. To all In Focus viewers, In Focus was what she called her show. In Focus has been canceled, and I am no longer employed at OAN. Thank you so much to all the viewers, guests, and everyone who supported my work. I'm looking forward to seeing where the Lord takes me. Please stay tuned for what's to come. I'm sorry. I am sorry. That just cracks me up. I should not get so much schadenfreude about somebody getting fired. I shouldn't. But she was not a nice person. She just was not a nice person. Couldn't happen to a better person. And I've got to say, there's a lesson to be taken from this. There are always people that will fall for shiny objects. They will. But what you are matters. What you have inside you matters. And if you expose people to prolonged period, that's why so much of my show, when I'm calling right wingers out, is me playing them saying what they have to say out loud. It turns people off, and it never lasts. People don't like bigots. Even bigots get tired of bigots. Yeah, I mean, it's just the way it is. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, C-Mac. Character counts. Character counts. I'm sorry, Leslie. It was Leslie that said it. Character counts. Just caught that out of the corner of my eye. Great comment. Character counts. It does. It really does. And along those lines, let's talk a little bit about the ride or die movement. We got a lot of new people in the audience. We really do. And by the way, speaking of audience, take a second to hit the thumbs up button. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything. I watched YouTube forever without hitting that subscribe button because I didn't realize it doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't complicate anything. All it does is it means when you log into YouTube, if I've got something new out there, it'll show it to you. It'll be in part of your selections. You won't have to hunt me down. That's all it means. So please hit the subscribe button. It really helps us with the algorithm. So yeah, there you go. Where I was going with that is a long time ago when I first started at this, folks know I came out of TikTok. That's where I originally came out. People are very, very loyal to their base. They're very loyal to their social media. YouTube viewers stay on YouTube. TikTok viewers stay on TikTok. If they're on X, they stayed on X. If they are on exactly, I appreciate you guys. I really do. I never did Instagram. I didn't. And when I first got started, and I met the guys over at Midas Touch, and we started doing some work together. And I was working on building my base on Instagram. And this is advice for all you folks going out there. I hope Bena Loco's here. If she's trying to get her show going. This is for anybody out there that wants to try to do what I'm doing. I'm going to give you the straight 411 on how to do what I do and how to get there. First of all, there's some great advice that RuPaul gave that is 100% necessary. You got to work, bitch. Yeah, this is not a part-time job. You have to stay informed. You have to be able to communicate. You got to work. That's number one. Number two is you have to go, if you want to build something, really build something, you have to go where the people are. I used to stream this to X. I quit because it was just too problematic to stream at X. It really was. Now I stream on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. I go to where the people are. because people are loyal to their social. They find something they like, and that's where they stay. Now, if you want to be in the comments, you've got to come to YouTube. You do. It's just the way it is. And in the beginning, when I was first going to Instagram, and I can't stream to Instagram because Meta makes it so impossible. I used to stream to my Facebook group, and I can't do that anymore. I can only stream to my Facebook page. Because Meta is making it really difficult. I would stream to Instagram if I could. We've got a huge Texas Paul Pothead following on Instagram, but I have to do separate videos for them because the live process is incredibly complicated, and they're making it more complicated. I may actually end up not streaming this show to Facebook because they keep making it more and more complicated and difficult. It may end up being a YouTube-only show eventually. But I will always make videos for those platforms. Anyways, long story short, too late. When I was getting started and I was building up a community on Instagram, I saw that boost button down at the bottom. And I went to Brett Meiselas, one of the founders of Midas Touch. And I asked him, I said, look, man, is it worth it? Is it worth paying to boost your videos so more people can see them? Because I know when people see my videos, they love it and they follow me. And he gave me the advice I'm going to give you. No, never boost your content ever, because it's not real. It's fake. And I'm going somewhere with this. We're going to go into a segment about click farm. And that's where I'm going with you. What we're doing here is real. And I want to prove it. Every one of these people in chat are real people. There are no bots here. There are no bots here. First of all, let's see my ride or die Democrats. Let's see the hearts and skulls. Let's see the hearts and skulls. So Susan McIntosh says, for Biden, 100% talking heads gave us Clinton victory. Red wave and Supreme Court won't give Trump immunity. Don't listen to them. Let's go, Joe. Yeah, I agree with you. And I'm going to point out a lot that the corporate media is getting wrong. Let's see those hearts and skulls for the ride or die Democrats. That was where I started. I started the ride or die Democrat movement. And then for those new viewers, let me explain what that is. You may be a ride or die Democrat. In the primaries, you fight like hell for what you believe in, and you fight like hell for your candidate. I tell people back before, when Joe was running the first time, I was a Mayor Pete guy. I was a Pete Buttigieg supporter. When Joe Biden beat him in the primaries, I was riding with Biden, baby. 100% riding with Biden. Now, to prove that you people are real and not bots, put up any emoji you want and get as raunchy as you want, eggplants, whatever, just to show that you're not, bots. Folks, get as creative as you want to. Something that could never tell you what to do. I love that Pillsbury Doughboys. That's great. That's great. Look, here's the point. Here's the advice that Brett Meiselas gave me. I don't want to lose that. Never boost. You never, because they're not real. What you're doing is you're paying someone to pretend to like your stuff. And what good is that? I'm building a community here. We are a movement. We are extremely powerful because of you people. We get information to real people. What good is the fraudulent, fake? It's not what we're doing here. Do you want that good? And believe me, folks, this is a good feeling. I'll never underestimate this. This happened a lot after October 7th when I saw the bots go active. The Russian bots go active after October 7th. And then I saw a lot of people fall into propaganda and start saying things that just were not true. It is a good feeling to have people like your comments. It is. It really is. If you're used to getting 5 or 50 likes, and then all of a sudden one of your comments takes off and you get 5,000 likes, man, that feels good. It really does. And they know it. And that's what these click farms do. That's what boosting is. It's fake. It's not real. The Republicans have a real problem of getting high on their own supply. They forget how fake their movement is. And they forget that they actually have to do right by real people, because it's only real people that can walk into a voting booth and vote. And where I'm going with this is I'm going to put the Joe Biden thing to bed. Joe Biden's not leaving the race. And that was great advice, by the way, for you. And I'm going to give Brett Marcellus over at Midas Touch credit for that. 100% factual. You want to build a show like this, you've got to do the work. You've got to do it real. You've got to build your following by doing work, by putting content out. That's how you do it. Because being fake doesn't help. Because what are you trying to do? Get yourself attention. You're trying to get that feeling. Oh, look, I got people that like my post. Who gives a shit? I get posts that are incredibly important out there, incredibly important news that may only get a couple hundred likes because of the way the algorithm's working that day. Happens to me all the time. Keep doing the work. Get in touch with real people, because that's what makes the difference in elections. And that's where I'm going with this Joe Biden stuff. The click army, the click farms, the bots went nuts over Joe Biden's got to drop out. Joe Biden's going to drop out. He's talking about false stories about Joe Biden himself is talking about dropping out. All of that is getting amplified in social media by bots. Why? Why would they do that? There's a couple reasons. And this is the last air I'm going to give this story. And David Miller, you're absolutely right. Biden has done an amazing job. He has done an amazing job. Why would they do that? There is method to the madness, and it worked in 2016. It really did. You had Russian bots that amplified the whole Bernie Bros. You remember the red roses in all of the posts? You remember that? The Russian bots amplified the whole Bernie Bros movement. They did. Don't get me wrong. I am not crapping on a real Bernie bro. I'm not. I am ride or die, man. You support your guy. But once Hillary Clinton had won, what happened? Peter, thank you. Exactly. And that's a hell of a lot of support there, Peter. I really appreciate you, brother. $50 is a lot of money. And you're absolutely, you want people to know, like, and trust you. Organic traffic, real. Do the work. Like RuPaul said, you got to work, bitch. That's how you do this. Don't fake it. And we're going to get there. So stick with me. I am not crapping on Bernie Bros. I'm a ride or die Democrat, man. You fight for your guy. But when the primary is over, we are Democrats. We walk in and we pull the handle for Democrats. That's what we do. We get behind the candidates that's there. What they're doing today is the same thing they did then. If they can get you to invest emotionally in something, if they can throw a bunch of bots up, if you put a post out that says, man, I don't know, I'm worried, I'm scared, and then all of a sudden your post gets either thousands of like comments or you get likes on that post, or all of a sudden you get tons of shares that you never got, you get emotionally invested in that position. And if they can get Democrats to get emotionally invested in that, when it doesn't happen, and it will not happen, and I'm going to explain why here in just a second, then you feel cheated and you don't show up and vote. And remember, folks, I keep telling you, elections are just a couple points. That's it. They'd only need to shift the needle a couple points. A blowout is like 5 points. That's why they want people to get invested in the position of, yeah, well, we should replace Joe Biden, a stronger, candidate, which is nonsense, because the whole thing behind it, and this is where the corporate media comes in. The corporate media has, and you're going to start seeing stories on this, just like the Timothy Mellon thing. In a few weeks to a month or two, you're going to start seeing stories about this in the corporate media. Corporate media is following the click farms. They've learned to ride the wave. When the click farms go active, they run stories supporting those narratives so that they also get the clicks. That's really happening right now today. So we're going to talk about click farms so that I like you to have the big picture, the understanding of what's going on. The idea is to get a bunch of Democrats, and when I say a bunch, I don't mean a majority, because I don't know any Democrats personally and what Joe Biden would fall out, because just like the comment a minute ago, Joe Biden, one, has done an amazing job. He's doing an amazing job right now today. Two, he's leading in the polls. After the last debate, boy, did the corporate media get it wrong. They were all like, oh, Joe looked old. Joe looked old. Thanks for the support, Brady. I appreciate you. Joe looks old. But the real story was what happened to the voters. The voters took one look at Donald Trump and said, oh, yeah, that's who that guy is. He's a lying piece of crap. And the polls shifted to Biden. All those polls that were toss-ups and the corporate media kept telling you, worry. All of a sudden they went to Biden. Because people took one look at Trump and said, oh, yeah. People that, most people don't see those damn rallies. That's for the nutballs. That's for the nutters. They literally have people that follow those rallies from city to city to city to city that are just Trump nutters, that are huge parts of those very small crowds. So most people aren't seeing that. They're not seeing Donald Trump expose himself other than what we share here. And when people see it, they're like, oh, screw that guy. This isn't 2016 when people didn't know Donald Trump. They know who he is now. 100% they know who he is. And in that debate, when he stood up there and he lied, and when he spewed lies, I'm going to have to get some coffee here in a second. When he spewed lies continuously, his demeanor, his attitude, his negativity, it all hit home. And the polls shifted hard to Biden. They just did. So you've got Biden leading, one. Exactly, Eliza. Vote Joe Biden for democracy over insanity. One, just talking about Joe Biden, he's leading. Two, he's got a huge financial advantage because people don't want what the right is selling. They don't want fascism. This Supreme Court decision is most people find it repugnant. They see what the right is doing. Homelessness is illegal. Bribery is okay. And, oh, yeah, by the way, we're going to have a fascist leader instead of a president. That is turning people off left and right. So people are financially supporting Joe Biden. He's got a huge financial advantage, which cannot be passed to anyone that you would say, oh, well, this hypothetical replacement starts at zero, folks. Zero. They've got no fundraising apparatus. They've got no ground game because all of the ground game that the Biden campaign is paid for, which he has another massive advantage, goes away because you can't gift that stuff under the law. Yeah, exactly. That's a great comment, my friend. Please start publicly calling those paid rally attendants Trumpian as yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Use their own words against them. It's an insult on 4chan. QAnon territory. But yeah, folks, if you replace, just hypothetically did that, replace Joe Biden, he starts with zero. Oh, thank you, honey. He starts at 0 She or he starts at zero funding apparatus. You've got the major donors that have already shot their wad with Joe Biden because everybody got on the Biden train early to make sure that he could have the ground game set up. They have zero ground game set up. Of course, the billionaire-owned media is pushing this. Trump's getting his ass kicked in reality where it counts. Of course you want the Democrat to have to start over from zero. That's not happening, folks. It was never going to happen. It was never a conversation. It was never anything in the Democratic Party. It is exactly what I told you. If Joe Biden died tomorrow, we would lie. We would stuff him. We would put his aviator glasses on him and drive him around in his Corvette and weaken and burning him through the election. I promise you. Because we have built a machine that is kicking their ass. Matthew Preble, learn the stock market before you lose your job. AI is coming. What happens when you make something smarter than you? You know, we're going to talk about AI here a little bit, Matthew Preble. Thanks for bringing that up, my friend. Weekend at Brandon's. Can I use that, Captain Turp? I need you. Can I use that? That is great. That is freaking. God, I love you people. You're the best. Weekend at Brandon's. That is fantastic, man. Please, can I use it? Tell me in the chat. That is great. That is great. Oh my God. Thanks for the support, Jenica. I appreciate you. $5 is a lot of cash, man. It's a lot of scratch. You keep the lights on. Keep these lights on, baby. Yeah. You keep the lights on. All right, let's talk about the click farms because that's what happened on social media. They went nuts. The right wing, the corporate media rode the click farm bait like they always do. There was never a discussion in the Democratic Party for the reasons I just illustrated to you. Never a discussion about Biden dropping out ever. One, he's winning. Why does the winner drop out? I don't know. Insane. He's winning the friggin' race, but yeah, he would drop out. That's insane. It's stupid. Why did the narrative go so hard? It's click farms. It's click farm. It really is. It's driving the narrative on the right. It is. And where click farms started, they didn't start out as a really big deal. Here's you remember Vice News? Remember Vice News? They had an article out about phone farms. And ordinary Americans are using armies of phones to generate cash to buy food, diapers, and beer through ad fraud. Yeah, that's where it started. No kidding. No kidding. It started as something actually legitimate before it turned into ad fraud. Okay? Legitimately, what you had was advertisers got this idea. Let's pay people. Let's get a group of people like pollsters do. We'll pay people to show up and give their opinions. And then we'll sell that service as an ad agency. Linda Thelman, I really appreciate you. Keep the lights on and an eye on France. We're going to talk about France here in a minute. As soon as we put this to bed, we're going to talk about France and we're going to talk about the UK both. I'm trying to get through this, folks. I'm sorry. I know. All right, look. This started as a legitimate thing. You had advertisers saying, look, let's get some people together. And what we'll do, and how I know this is true, my adult daughter, loves this stuff. Frickin' loves it. She gets tons of frickin' coupons to try products and then gives her review of the product. That's how it legitimately started. And she loves it because let me tell you something. Mrs. Texas Paul and my daughter, we're just frugal people. We could squeeze a quarter till the eagle screams, man. And you talk about companies sending you coupons? What? Shoot that shit straight into my veins. You know what I'm saying? That is like dope to people like me. And my daughter absolutely loves that stuff. And she still does it to this day, but she doesn't phone farm. That was the evolution of it. People figured out, well, if they're going to pay me to review something, what if I could review a lot? And then came the phone farms. And you have nefarious areas of the internet. And these are the people that are drawn to this. It's people that are flawed like this, that went to nefarious areas of the internet and said, you know what? These companies are paying you to review, I don't know, not even just reviews, just to watch movie trailers was a big one. That was a big one. Are you following me here? It started with a legitimate, hey, here's a coupon, try my product, we'll pay you for reviewing it. Then it went to people were like, hey, you know what? We'll pay you to watch movies and tell us what you think. And people said, oh, really? Cool. What if I could do that 24 hours a day? Well, you can't. So people went to the nefarious parts of the internet, which wrote programs, which created phone farms. And we showed pictures about that the other day. Well, it's evolved. It's no longer just, you saw the metal racks with phones lined up on the wall, and it was controlled by a PC. And what they would do is they would do everything from scam advertisers and it's fraud. And movie studios would pay these advertisers to get people to watch their trailers. Well, everybody figured it out rather quickly. It goes back to boosting your content. Don't do it. It's not real. That's what movie studios and everybody figured out right away was it's not real. These people that would set up click farms to watch movie trailers weren't showing up at the theaters because they're not real. Just like people that are doing this politically, these phone farms that this is morphed into today, they're not real. They're not going to vote. At the end of the day, they don't show up to vote. It's just noise. Jay Kavanaugh says, if Trump wins, does Biden have an obligation to protect and defend the Constitution while in office, or do we sit here and regret years later that we do not protect our democratic republic? Sorry if already addressed. No, it's a great comment. It's a great comment. It really is. I am pushing for the Biden administration to declassify the information they know. They know how corrupt the Republican Party is. They know. They have, the signal intelligence, the human intelligence. I'm saying to classify it all and show how much these fuckers are owned. That's what I want to see happen. And do it in October. Midas Lisa, Midas Mighty in the house. Where's my Midas Mighty? I love Midas. I love the Midas Mighty. I love the Midas brothers. I really do. I tell you, the good, hardworking people. They really are. But anyways, back to what we were talking about. This is what phone farms have evolved into. I got a little TikTok video for you.
Tiêu chuẩn sẽ là 20 máy. Nếu mà anh chị nào cần nhiều điện thoại thì
they've gone from being some Americans that got, that were involved in getting some coupons and all of that stuff, to the Asians said, hold my beer. And all over Asia, you have these massive, massive phone farms. It's no longer just a few phones on a wall. They've actually invented these things, folks. They've actually invented these things. I want to show you these. They're server boxes for phones. You know what a server box is? I mean, you know what a server is? They're incredibly expensive to own and operate. They're expensive to buy. Well, they've come up with server boxes for phones. And you can buy in Asia used phones dirt cheap. And you don't need, because you're not a human being actually using your phone. You don't care if it's got a great camera. You don't care if it's slow. You don't care about any of that. And why don't you care? Because you're buying one of these. They've gotten to the point now where it's not that old, they're stuck up on the wall stuff. They're cracking the phones open and they're taking the motherboards out, and they've built these server boxes. There's 20 to 30 phones per box, and you can order them based on the models that you buy. If you go to Alibaba or whatever, you can buy phones for under $10, man. Used phones. And I want you to look at these. These are all boxes full of phones. See on the left there, the old style, how much room that took up? See how much room that took up? On the right, each one of those boxes, let's say each one has 20 phones in it. They've got as big as like 35 phones, but let's say each one has 20 phones in it. You're looking at 1,000 phones in just that one little area. And they're doing everything. They're doing everything from false reviews, from committing outright fraud, pretending they're bilking these ad agencies, pretending to watch movie reviews so that the reviewers get data that says, oh man, people are really interested in this movie. And how this evolved, how it made the leap, is advertisers figured it out. They figured out they were getting screwed. Their customers figured it out. Movie studios figured out, hey, you're telling us, 20 million people watch the trailers on this. We know we've got a follow through of at least 10% on that. And they didn't show up at the movie theater. What gives? Phone farms. People figured out that even though these advertising agencies massively cut the revenues down that they were paying these people to do reviews, so they lost the real reviewers because it wasn't worth their time. But the phone farms, each phone, they've got tens of thousands of phones, and each phone has hundreds to thousands of accounts on it. You see how that extrapolates out, and you're getting 1/100 of a penny per review. What do you care? Because you're doing it with an AI run program that is controlling these phones 24 hours a day to put out messages. You could see the avalanche that would cause on social media. Thanks for the support, Randy. I appreciate you, my brother. Thanks for keeping the lights on, my friend. Every day, work on it every day. It's a full-time job. You want to do this? It's a full-time job, folks. You got to be able to talk for an hour and a half. Remember to hit that thumbs up so more people can see this. People need to know this. This is what happened with the Biden dropout thing. Just the bots were insane. And you can spot them because they create these accounts. They're AI created accounts. And they say, well, create an account that's an average American. So what do? They're full of sports. It's like all college. The whole thing is, I am a Beavers fan. Look at me. I am a Beavers fan. Fellow American. I'm a Beavers fan. And then all of a sudden it all changes because the responses are all political, negative. You fat libtard bastard moved to California. What the hell? Go Beavers, fat libtard bastard. What the hell? You can identify the fake ass trolls from the real trolls, because the real trolls will call me a fat libtard bastard all the time. That will be what their page is made up of. Robert, thank you, man. 100 bones is a lot of cash. I really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for the support. You allow me to do this as a full-time job, and I'm grateful. I'm very grateful. So where I'm going with this is, No, we're not replacing Joe Biden. That's over. That's done. We're not going to give that any more air. Joe Biden is winning. He's leading in the polls. He's got a decisive advantage on the ground. He has a decisive fundraising advantage. We are going to kick their ass, period. That's it. That's over with. What I want to do going forward, I want for you and me as a community to push to make this kind of fraud a felony. I want to make it a felony for someone to pretend to be a human being on the internet when they're really just using AI or bogus accounts. The reason I want it to be a felony is this isn't really this is exploding in unregulated areas. In China, you can buy bulk batches of SIM cards, 1,000 cards at a time. You can't do that here. Here, you have to have an ID. You have to register your. When you've seen the activation process. There's a reason that you have to pay. I know it sucks. Everybody hates it. Well, I got to pay the damn activation fee to use your network and pay you a bill. Well, that's the government being smart. Because it gets really freaking expensive to open bogus, to activate bogus SIM cards if you got to pay a fee for each and every one of them. So these things in Asia are insane. Korea, North Korea, Vietnam, I mean, just all over Asia. They are freaking everywhere. They are also here. They are also in Russia. They are also in Europe. Indonesia is another huge one. And here's the second reason. Well, let me finish the first reason. The first reason I want it to be a felony is this. Even though it's foreign, it's still a felony here. That is something you can use to sanction the governments that are allowing it to happen. That gives you legal footage to stand on. That gives you an argument at the table. If it is a crime here, you are allowing your people to commit crimes in my country. And that is actionable. That gives the government teeth. That's one reason I want it to be a felony. The second reason is Russia has been using this to attack us since 2016. They bragged about it in 2014. Philippines and Eastern Europe, I have stories. Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you do. I bet you do. The Russians have been using this to attack us like crazy. The right has been using this. And yes, Old Silver, it's fraud. It is fraud. And fortunately, companies are starting to figure out not to invest in it. And unfortunately, the corporate media has figured out that when these troll farms go active, oh, they got a story, man. They got a story. They're going to reach into people and they're going to get it. The reason I want it to be a felony, number 2, is AI. AI. Right now, you can spot a bot from a mile away. If you just open their account and look, the comments will not make sense. They just don't. You can tell you're not looking. This isn't the normal way a mind works. You can see it in their account and their content. That's changing with AI. AI does nothing but get exponentially smarter every single day. You saw the young woman that I showed you that did not exist. She was not an actual young woman in the previous show. And she was everything physically that we look for. That's happening right now. They need to make it a felony now. This is something we cannot do catch up on. It's something that we cannot play catch up on. And the folks, I got to tell you, most people in Congress don't understand this like you do, like I've just explained to you. And the ones that do are the Republicans, and they want it badly. Because, folks, there is no right-wing movement in this country. They're weak. Trump is the weakest candidate the Republicans have run in probably their entire existence. If it is not for the fake troll accounts on every single platform, they don't exist. They look like the radical extremist small segment of society that they are. They really are. Folks, bandwagon effect is real. Advertisers have known this for years. Bryn Reed says, love your show. My hubby calls you my Texas boyfriend. Hey, cut that out now. Cut that out. Tell him I said, cut that shit out. But yeah, they need to make it a felony for that reason, because it's going to do nothing but get better and get faker. And here's the third reason. All of those fake accounts take real resources. They do. What do you think a small 1,000 phone click farm does to your bandwidth? Folks, you don't realize this is the ugly underside of crypto farming and the whole cryptocurrency thing. The massive amount of electricity and bandwidth that these frauds eat up. Folks, they're estimating right now, and they're wrong, they're low, that right now they're already eating 10%. Yeah, exactly, Cecile, because I'm a huge issue. AI is compounding the issue, and it's going to get worse. They're saying that right now AI is responsible for consuming 10% of our electricity and bandwidth. It's just growing exponentially. We have to make this a felony. We have to. If you think your phone is slow now, oh yeah, I saw that story. I did. It's ridiculous. Yeah. He made a what she's talking about, he made a tongue-in-cheek joke about, I'm only going to work 14 hours a day. And the corporate media is running it as, did you hear? Joe Biden's going to stop working in the evenings. Yeah, that really happened yesterday. But yeah, folks. So what do we do about it? Reach out, please. They need to make it a felony. Impersonating human beings needs to be a felony. If AI pretends to be a human being, if someone leaves a review, a fraudulent review, that needs to be a felony, because you cannot even trust reviews anymore. You can't go to Amazon and look at a product and see the product reviews and trust them. You know, everybody's trying to play catch up on this. Oh, well, you've got to have a verified purchase, and but they're getting buried. They're getting buried. It's eating up our natural resources. Folks, the state of Texas does not have 10% of its power grid to dedicate to this nonsense. It just doesn't. We're trying desperately to get internet access for rural Americans. That's 25% of the country, honey. 25% of the country. I apologize. I was going to read that and I didn't get a chance to read it. If you could bring it back up, that'd be great. The Devil of Dallas, again, thank you again for the support. That's multiple times in one show. I'm really grateful. President is 2 full-time jobs. Campaigning is a third. He's working in the evenings. Just, just not hobnobbing with the gadflies. Great. Exactly. It was a tongue-in-cheek joke. Sharon Reddy, this is the time for regulation. Done well, we can define living personhood and include corporate and non-living. Yeah, exactly. I love the fact that you people are always ahead of me. If we can define a clump of cells as a human being, then we can define what a human being is. Yes, the Republicans will fight us on this because actually declaring somebody a human being doesn't serve their purposes in this. John Carlin says, new watcher, thank you. Just a note, not all of that is planned for 2025 is listed in Project 2025. They will do away with the Freedom of Information Act. Yeah, that I'm telling you, people, read the 2025 project. It is horrific, man. You're talking about, and the religious stuff. Oh my God. The religious takeover is insane. I'm telling you, these people are out there. Please read the 2025 project. It is too long for me to sit here and read the whole thing on the show. I keep telling you about parts of it in hopes that you'll go read it. Go read it. Before they sanitize it, go read it. But yeah, that was reason number 3. And I hope you agree with me. Please contact your representatives and let's start this conversation, because when you start screaming for it to become a felony, then the corporate media will have to report on it. And they'll have to tell you that, oh yeah, X-Chan is bullshit. It is literally a cesspool toilet of bots. And people will understand and come back to reality. They will. E.T., my man, it is less than 18 weeks until the general election. Make sure your voter registration deadline. Make sure of your voter registration deadlines. Make sure when your early voting starts and stops. Make sure to go and vote. Vote, vote. Thank you, E.T., bringing that reminder every show. I am grateful, my friend. Yes, do not wait till the last minute to verify your registration. Don't do it. Hang with me, folks. This show is going to go just a little bit long because we got a lot to talk about, starting with this right here. I don't have a lot of good things to say about Rishi Sunak. I just don't have a lot of good things to say about Rishi Sunak. Don't like the man. He's a conservative. He's a wealthy guy that's just out of touch, and I don't like him. But kudos to him. Kudos to him. Because when he got his ass beat like a drum yesterday in the election, he did not do what Republicans do here. He called up the king. He did the customary meeting with King Charles and resigned. He walked out of number 10 Downing Street. He gave the announcement. He said, "This is on me. I blew it. I have made an appointment with the king to let him know that I am resigning as the head of his government." That's it. Wow. How low is the bar these days that we could actually be appreciative of that? Phantom Pop, thanks for the support, man. Appreciate you. I mean, how low is our political bar that these days that just accepting an election gets you a pat on the back, man? Because I don't know about you, but I am legitimately grateful to see someone do this. It's a done deal. He's no longer the prime minister. He left with dignity. Exactly. How freaking low have the Republicans drug us in this country just that, he maintained his dignity, he took responsibility, and he resigned as prime minister. I think you people are like me. I think you're thinking, wow, that's cool. No coup attempt. Yeah, exactly. Jamie, no coup attempt. That's what Republicans are doing to us. I want to pat myself on the back too, because I got a lot of right wingers. Every once in a while, I'll say something that will set the right wingers off, and they've been trying to push this narrative that, oh man, the right wing's going to just has taken over Europe. Everybody's jumped on the right train, and it's nonsense. Jeanette Dahl, good to see you. Keeping up with what's going on in the U.S. is like riding a roller coaster every day. Yeah, I'm telling you. And Jeanette, we look to you folks in Europe for sanity. We really do. We are. We're not going to talk about Denmark today, but we are going to talk about the Netherlands a little bit. I want to pat myself on the back because I said a few months back, Keir Starmer is going to be the next prime minister of the United Kingdom. I got emails from right-wingers about what an idiot I am, that the election isn't even going to be, and I just happened to know. I had some inside baseball information that, yes, Rishi Sunak was going to do the absolute stupid thing of calling an election. And he did. And I was right. This happened today. It's a ceremony. Ceremony is the wrong word. It's a tradition called the kissing of the hands. That's King Charles making the formal request of Keir Starmer to please form a government. It's called a kissing of the hands. That happened this morning. Wonderful, isn't it? I mean, just to see things happen. I told you he would be the next prime minister. I told you. I understand people. I get it. John Edgar, I hope that the door at 10 Downing Street hit Rishi Sunak. Yeah. Yeah, really, kudos to the man for having dignity. I'll give him that much. And there was more good news. Let me tell you how big this victory was. The majority, just the majority, not they outnumbered the Conservatives, which is obvious because he's the prime minister, but the amount at which the seats they'd taken, the number of seats they'd taken up and beyond their actual majority is larger than the number of seats that the Conservatives hold in total. That's how big a landslide this was for Labor. Let me repeat that so that you understand. Not just like Labor versus the Tories. No. I'm talking about the number of seats beyond that Labor won up and over, that gave them the control of the government, is greater than the number of seats that the Conservatives hold, period. Yeah, that's a landslide. And I keep telling you, I know people. I know where people are. Christopher Titus had me on a show the other day. We talked about that. I mean, folks, comedians have an innate gift to understand people. They really do. And I was so grateful for Christopher Titus for inviting me on. I love having him as a friend because his insights into people kind of keep me in touch, because you people are my Achilles heel. You are not like everybody else. You are intelligent, you're informed, you're not crazy people, you're good people. So that can kind of lull me into a sense of overconfidence. And having people like Christopher Titus in my life, friends like that are really good at reading people, because you have to be to be a comedian. Think about that. A comedian will get somebody to come in, sit down, they'll take you out of your life, bring you into theirs, and they know what to tell you, how to tell you to make you laugh and smile. They understand people. And when Christopher Titus told me, look, man, I'm worried, man, this is getting off the hook. I knew I had to address this Biden thing again. I knew I did. I'm grateful for people like him. By the way, check it out. I'm on his show. He's going to be releasing it soon. Highlander. I didn't get to, Ken Highlander wasn't there. He was there, but he wasn't with us. I'm disappointed. I like Ken. But it was with Rachel Bradley and Christopher Titus. And I'm, again, grateful to have people like that in my life. It allows me to know that things like this are really happening. And it's, and Keir Starmer gets it. Let me explain why everybody wrote him off and why the right-wingers were so confident to give me the dirty emails about what an idiot I was for saying he was going to be the PM. Keir Starmer is not a cult of personality. He is not. He is not an incredibly eloquent orator. He has a lot of the same challenges that Kamala Harris has. Kamala Harris is extremely intelligent. She's an attorney. He's a barrister. And they speak in a way that is very precise. And to some people, it comes off as snobby. It does. It comes off as snobby. They're not. Kamala Harris is one of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet in your life. Her husband, Doug, I swear to God, that man is a walking hug. He is. He lights up the room. But they don't come off incredibly appealing. They don't. Because being smart and that lawyerly training makes you parse your words very carefully. So people wrote Keir Starmer off a long time ago. Thank you. I appreciate you, Christian. That is a hell of a lot of support there, man. Kroners go a long way, my friend. They go a long way. Thank you. So yeah, people wrote Starmer off. He said he's not going to be able to do anything, this, that, and the other. He's brilliant. He is brilliant. He is exactly what Kamala Harris would be. This is why I'm so confident and so happy about our future as Democrats. He got control of the Labor Party, and everybody's like, oh, Labor's done, man. He literally kicked the radicals out of Labor. He drove Jeremy Corbyn out. He drove Corbyn out. Corbyn had to run as an independent this time. Yeah, cleaned house. And he understood the people and where the people were. This was his comment today. The 61-year-old barrister said there was, quote, a weariness in the heart of the nation, unquote. Yes, he understood the people. They were not liking what was going on after Brexit. They were not liking the way the conservatives were handling the whole Liz Truss debacle and how the markets tanked and kept tanking every time the conservatives tried to re-implement their financial policies. Just like here, you let conservatives have control, they tank your retirement. They tanked the markets. They tanked the job market. They tanked the economy. People were tired of it. Keir Starmer understood it. He said, this wound, this lack of trust can only be healed by actions, not words. Exactly like Joe Biden. Exactly. Exactly like Joe Biden. Jeremy Corbyn was an anti-Semitic bigot. And Keir Starmer said, no, we're going to be a party of the people. We're going to work. We're going to work. God, I love you people. I love you people. I really do. That is not hyperbole when I say that. Ingeborg Lovick said, didn't Nigel Farage get a seat? I'm getting there, man. Stay with me. Stay with me. Anyways, here's a gratuitous pic of Keir Starmer at the Taylor Swift concert. This is just the way the guy is, man. Just the way the guy is. He is incredibly smart, very methodical. He's not a cult of personality. And he just gets things done. And the people of UK were like, oh my God, that is what I need. That is what I need. and he won in a landslide. And there was more good news, because a lot of the people that lost were horrible people. Here's Liz Truss at Ted Cruz's house. Yeah, she was here in Texas at this is Ted Cruz's house. She lost her seat. She's not in the government anymore. She's out. You're out. Love it, man. So many of the horrible conservatives lost their job. They lost their job. But it wasn't all good news. It wasn't all good news. Like you said, you already called out Farage. I think it was his 8th or 9th try. Can you believe this guy wielded so much, just influence, and the right wing here in America kissed his ass? He never could win an election. He ran this is his 8th or 9th try. Could never win an election, and the right wing here just amplified him, and Putin and the whole Brexit bot thing just acted like this guy was something super spectacular. He finally won an election. That's the bad news. He finally won a seat in North London. The galactically stupid elected him. Which is meaningless because the landslide was so freaking big that the UK is going to move decidedly left. You may see an undoing of Brexit may come from this. You may see the UK re-enter the European Union over this. Another bit of bad news is we mentioned Corbyn. They kicked him out of the party. Labor's like we Democrats. We clean up our own backyard. They kicked him out of the party. Well, the galactically stupid kept him. They kept him in a seat. And he won. So it's not all perfect news. And that's the reason I want to bring that to your attention is I keep telling you, if you just show up and vote, we can end the Republican Party. But it will not be a zero-sum game. No one ever wins it all. There will still be remnants. But we can do it. We can wipe the Republicans off the map. This next election, this is wind in our sails. Joe Biden's campaign they are killing it. Minus one bad debate performance. The wind is at our back. People have seen what these conservatives are. Marcia Sands says, you always present new perspectives and a sense of hope for me because most of today's news terrifies me. Together, we will take MAGA down. Yes. You know why? Because the bots don't vote. They don't vote. The phone farms, the click farms don't vote. Just show up and vote. Don't fall for the nonsense. I will bat it down every show. We will keep going. We will end the Republican Party. No, it will not be a zero-sum game. There will be a Republican left somewhere after the next election. But just like what happened in the UK, after 14 years of conservative rule in the UK, they got decimated. Not even, you can't even call it landslides, is the wrong word at how badly they lost. And that sentiment is everywhere. This is how bad the mainstream media is. One, they count on the fact that you don't understand French elections. Why would you? You don't live in France. But they ran headlines like this. Marine Le Pen's far-right party crushes Macron and France balance of power. No, she didn't. French elections, they take democracy much more seriously. They were instrumental in the creation of our democracy. They don't teach that enough in our history classes. Why the French far right triumphed? They didn't. They didn't. And I will explain why. This is true. Keep this point in mind. Great point. You don't like my music says France still has a strong radical left. They will fuck shit up. They will. Let me tell you, keep that in mind as we talk about this. What happened in the election? First of all, you have to understand it wasn't the election. French elections, they have one round, and it is a very high bar to gain a seat. Almost always, there has to be a runoff. Almost always. In almost every case. I think there was, out of 577 seats in the French parliament, I think 80 reached the bar that they didn't have a runoff. It's that hard. So to say that the right won is idiotic. It's just idiotic. It was clickbait. It was clickbait because Putin is a Le Pen lover and his bot army went to work for Le Pen. So you get headlines like, oh, they're crushed. No, they aren't. But what really happened in that election, this is round one results, and why they scream that from the rooftops that, oh, what a massive victory, and the corporate media jumped on it because they follow the click farms. See this is Marine Le Pen, right? Not nearly enough to avoid the runoffs. This is the left. These two lines right here. It's 50% to 30%. This is the left. The left split their vote. They do this in Canada too. The left really need, and this is why Macron called this election, was because of this right here. I tell you folks, I love you folks because you're good and decent people, but my job is like herding freaking cats. It really is. You people are not sheeple. You're not morons. I can't just tell you something and you bleed along. Hey, we have a lot of emperors on this side. We really do. And they have the same thing in France. Your liberals tend to be thinkers. So what happened? You have the center left, which is Macron, the more conservative left, which is Macron, and then you have the liberal left, and they split the left vote, which allowed right-wingers, which didn't split their vote, to make it to the runoffs. You follow me? The left, which is 2/3 of the country, split their vote, which allowed the right, which is a minority in the country, to make it to the runoffs. This wasn't a massive victory or anything like that. What the corporate media can't understand, because the corporate media is just billionaire news organizations that hire millionaires to sell you their bullshit. They don't understand people. They don't. They live in their bubble and they don't understand people. To them, they would never give of themselves. They wouldn't. They didn't understand. Do you know what the left did in France for tomorrow's election? Over 200 candidates on the left withdrew to ensure that seat goes to a left-leaning candidate and they don't split the vote anymore. Exactly what Macron wanted, needed, and the reason he called this election. The left unified. We may be a herd of cats, but that herd is all marching in the same direction. And 200, listen to me when I say this, 200 candidates that fought their asses off in this election withdrew. It was about a 60-40 split between the Nouveau left and the Macron party, the Macron-backed party, withdrew to make sure the candidate that went goes to the left. And what is the corporate media telling us? They're telling us, oh, I don't know if they can do this. I don't know if the left can unify. I don't know if nope, it's sinking in. It's starting to sink in. French elections, Le Pen set to fall short of majority in France, polling shows. Yeah, tomorrow's election will not have Marine Le Pen as your prime minister. She's going to lose. She is a Putin puppet, absolutely. Lindsay Leiter, great comment. Le Pen scares the shit out of everybody because she's not a Georgia Maloney. And we're going to get to that in a minute. Thanks for hanging in here, folks. It's going to be a little bit of a longer show today. Hang in here. There's good information coming. And thank you for all the support. Anthony LaRose says, you bet if I couldn't believe the vids of talking heads saying the Democrats were totally into getting Joe Biden to say, yeah, no, it's crap. It's garbage. It's garbage. It's all garbage. Wendy Bauman, thank you for the support. And everybody, the corporate media, oh, Macron is done. Where's Macron? We haven't seen him since the election. I tell you where Macron is. Macron's making deals. You know what this means, folks? Just like the UK just moved decidedly left. The French government, Macron, remember, he's a conservative, what would be considered, he's like a Biden. He's a conservative Democrat. He's making deals right now with the left to stay in power. That's what he's doing. I don't know if he'll succeed. I think he will. From everything I'm seeing, he's going to make the deals. He will continue to be prime minister after Sunday's election. But the government is moving left hard. And that is the trend. That, my friends, is the trend. And that is exactly why Macron called the election in the first place. People were calling him an idiot. Why did you do that? Oh my God, you had power. Why did you do that? Folks, the decks are cleared. It is 100% clear, just like it is here with the 2025 project and taking rights away from women, the insane comments about, well, if the left will let it be bloodless, we're going to have us a revolution. All of the nonsense that are making it completely clear is exactly what happened in France. And the people went nuts after the first round. They told the left, I'll be honest with you, it wasn't just the goodness of their hearts that made all of these candidates say, hey, yeah, I'm dropping out for the good of the left. It was this. It was this. The people rose up by the hundreds of thousands and said, get your shit together. And they did. They did. And you know, folks, I told you I'd talk about the Netherlands a little bit. I told you I'd talk about the Netherlands a little bit. Remember this guy? Well, after 7 months of negotiation, this is a case where the right actually won the election. But people were so horrified. Remember Geert Wilders? This bigot whose party won in the Netherlands? You remember this? We talked about it a couple times on the show. Patty Ann says, thank you from Sweden. Hoping the blue tsunami in November. Thank you. Well, no, thank you for being here. You folks from Europe, you keep talking in the comments and explaining to people how it's actually working, because y'all don't have it hasn't hit you as hard there. The click farms and whatnot hasn't hit you as hard. Your clarity is super important to us. What happened to Geert Wilders here? Did he end up prime minister? He won, right? Oh, no. No. That man is insane. He is insane. And the second that election happened, everybody went, oh, no, and put their differences aside. Let me introduce you. You're going to love this. The guy on the left here. Hendrikus Wilhelmus Maria. Hendrikus Wilhelmus Maria Schoof. Don't worry, you'll ever have to say that. He goes by Dick. He goes by Dick. Dick Schoof is the new prime minister in the Netherlands. And no, he's not some bigoted nut. They did manage to pull the government to the right. They did. So yes, you have to get out and vote. But no, that is not what is happening in the world. I'm telling you, I know people. I understand people. People are tired. Thanks for bringing this up. Oh, wait. Oh, wrong one. I'll get to that in a minute. Let me back up. I missed it. Somebody just asked about Germany. Germany is moving left. Scholz, who was right of center, has moved left. You should hear his comments on Ukraine. You should hear how aggressive Germany is getting. Everything in the German government is moving left. Giorgia Meloni in Italy. Giorgia Meloni has had one issue after another where she has tacked solidly left. I know you're saying, you're being mean, you're pulling bad pictures up and yada, yada. This is the photo from her. She's got a scandal right now where the youth movement in her party, we're doing the whole, like Nazi youth, the Italian version of the Hitler Youth, and it's blown up all over. People don't like these people. When they have to listen to them, they don't like them. Anthony LaRue, thank you. The whole world's watching. Sanity, vision. Exactly. This is what I keep reminding people. Meloni has tacked left. Yes, she got into office with Putin's help. The bots and the anti-immigration bots and all of the stuff that you're seeing out of our right wing drug her into office in Italy, and immediately she switched directions and she's pro-Ukraine. I'm telling you, she keeps. And I know you're saying, "Oh, don't be mean. That's a terrible picture." Well, I have to tell you, I could have used this one. Okay, I'll be nice. I won't do that. I'll use this picture. But this is as good as you get because I don't like her. Folks, she is moving hard left. Germany is moving left. And Lynn Lynette here, yeah, they're having a huge backlash because just like here in the United States, the white supremacists started to rear their ugly head and people saw it and they hate it. What scares me about Giorgia Meloni is of all the fascists, she's the smartest. She's the smartest. And she is tacked hard left to keep the stink off of her. But that didn't change her core of who she is. She got elected on hate. Hate is in her core. And given a free hand, she will go right back to the hate. We can never let the pressure off. That is an indicator of the wave, the way things are going. Watch Giorgia Meloni. She's the smartest. She keeps tacking farther and farther and farther left. And the same will happen here. The same will happen here. Captain Turp, please help spread the hashtag Stop Project 2025. People, it's not hypothetical anymore. They really took women's rights away. They're really causing women to bleed out in parking lots over something that should just be basic health care. They're really causing a spike in the number of women that are forced to rear their rapist babies. There have been over 26,000 here in Texas since they passed their draconian laws, stripping women of their rights. Infant mortality is screaming. It's spiked over 10% already, and it's going to do nothing but get worse. Because these are babies that should have never made it. They should have never been born. They were not going to survive. The mother had to endure an entire pregnancy, had to risk her fertility over idiots, church idiots that have no business in your healthcare. People see it. People see the attacks on the LGBTQ plus community. That whole shiny object hate shit that they do on the right, folks, bigots get tired of bigots. It's wearing out. Trump is no longer new. People know what he is. The best thing that we can do is keep letting him talk and keep showing him as exactly what he is. When the head of the Heritage Foundation says the god-awful things that he says because he is a religious fanatic, he's not a mainstream Christian, he's a religious fanatic. We're going to show you, and we're going to keep talking about it all the way through the election. All the way through the election. And it's working. It's working everywhere. Anywhere that people have fallen for the shiny object and fallen for the propaganda, like in Italy, they're backpedaling so damn hard. Even in Hungary, it's a lie. It's phony, but they're backpedaling. They're backpedaling hard. Keep the pressure on. We are winning. We are 100% winning. And exactly, ET, hospital costs are rising. This AI bullshit is swamping our electric grids. It's eating up our bandwidth on our telecommunications systems. The idiotic abortion fanaticism is driving up hospital costs. They've stripped women of their basic control of their own bodies. They've passed laws to allow idiots to try to arrest their way out of homelessness, which you cannot do. Folks, it costs $120,000 a year to house an inmate in the state of California. You could give a homeless person $50,000 a year and have better results. You would have better results. They would become a productive member of society again. It happens. The numbers, it's not debatable. It's just there. The numbers are there. What works and what doesn't work. The war on drugs is a failure. It's massively expensive, leads to mass incarcerations and burdens on society. That's all the right wing wants to do. It's been shown over and over and over again. Decriminalize drugs. Just decriminalize it, make it an addiction issue, make it a healthcare issue. You get better results. And it's less expensive. The entire world has moved left, folks. Just vote. Just vote. Just vote. Well, folks, Hurricane Beryl, last thing I want to talk about, and thank you for sticking with me through this whole thing. Hurricane Beryl made landfall in Mexico. It's going to hit the Gulf. This water right here over the next couple of days is super warm. And that thing's going to spin up. It'll be a Cat 5. I'm going to mark my words. It'll be a Cat 5 again. It's a Cat 2 right now as it runs over the Yucatan Peninsula. When it hits South Texas and runs up across Central Texas, it's going to hit as a Cat 5. It'll probably be a Category 1 still by the time it reaches on Wednesday because of the heat in the Gulf. It's just going to spiral it up like crazy. Keep people in your thoughts. Watch the news. Watch the news. Republicans that run the state won't be there for us. All they're going to do is say, please, President Biden, will you help us, please? That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Same guy that they're saying is too old, can't run anything. They're going to walk up like little Oliver. Please, President Biden, will you help us? That's what's going to happen. I love you, folks. That's what I've got for you today. Thank you for being here. Thank you. For you folks that want to try to do this, there's a huge void. Thankfully, organizations like Midas Touch are working to fill it. You got folks like me that are out here doing the work. If you've got talent, you're a decent person, and you want to try to do this, here's my advice. You got to work. You got to work. You got to be here regularly. You've got to be informed. You've got to follow what's going on. It is more than a full-time job. And if you're really lucky, you will build a following and you will get people that will support you, that will allow you to do it. Again, thank you folks for the support. One last reminder, please hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the subscribe button for all you new people that are new to the audience. And keep your eye out. It seems to be a trend. We talk about a subject, and then a few weeks later, lo and behold, the corporate media figures it out. Look for those click farm stories coming in the next few weeks. Love you, folks. This is Old Texas Paul out. Enjoy some Texas cities at night. Go to Real Texas Paul. You can get a link for the mugs. Thanks for the support.